The stars have aligned for Chris Rea, the musician who said no to the limelight.
In the mid-1980s, the world witnessed the greatest visual revolution in music history. MTV had transformed music from something you'd heard into something you watched. Hairspray, neon lights, leather pants, and massive video productions became more important than the talent itself. To be a successful artist, it was no longer enough to have a great voice, you had to be a fashion icon, a sex symbol, and a polished marketing product. Right in the middle of this noise stood a man in a plain pair of jeans, holding an old guitar, with a look on his face that seemed to ask, "What am I even doing here?" That man was Chris Rea. For Chris Rea, the 80s were not a success story, they were a struggle for survival. While record labels tried to mold him into a new Bruce Springsteen or a polished pop idol, he only wanted to be in the studio, obsessing over the tone of his slide guitar. At the height of MTV's golden age, Rea was one of the few artists who openly hated making music videos. To him, a video was a shackle that killed the listener's imagination. Even for a song like On the Beach, which captured the soul of summer, Rea's discomfort in the forced commercial videos was visible on his face. He dreamed of a world without cameras, lights, or makeup. "I'm a musician, not a model. I want people to listen to my songs, not memorize my face." This stance was commercial suicide at the time. Yet, Rea chose this path consciously. The glitter of fame didn't blind him, it irritated him. The rock stars of the 80s were like theater actors. Elaborate costumes, big hair, and exaggerated makeup were mandatory. Chris Rea developed his own jeans philosophy against this aesthetic imposition. For him, stage clothes should be no different from what he wore to the kitchen at home. This lack of showmanship was actually the strongest link he had with his fans. On stage, people didn't see an unreachable deity, they saw a man from Middlesbrough with his own troubles and stories, someone just like them. This simplicity was the foundation of his music. Blues required honesty, and Rea believed that honesty would get lost under fancy costumes. The life of a rock star usually revolves around hotel rooms, scandals, and tabloid headlines. Chris Rea was one of the rare names who broke this cycle. Despite selling millions of albums worldwide, he put going home above everything else. The paparazzi never chased him because he had no scandals. He wasn't in expensive nightclubs, he was at home with his family, watching his children grow up, or working on his cars in the garage. He saw fame as a tool to pay the bills and create the art he dreamed of, never as an identity. He managed to stay so far outside the system that he could fill a stadium and then take the subway home. Rea's entire career is built on one sentence: "I'm a musician, not a star." To be a star is to accept shining, fading, and being managed by others. To be a musician is only about creating and expressing. After his life-altering surgery in the early 2000s, Rea applied this manifesto in its most radical form. He abandoned the popular music market entirely and began producing only the blues albums that fed his soul. With the Blue Guitars Project, an 11-album box set, he proved he was finally free from the hit song pressure of record labels. He was no longer a product, he was a free artist. Today, the desire to be famous has been democratized, but it has also been corrupted. Influencer culture is the peak of everything Chris Rea loathed: the obligation to be constantly visible, the transformation of every moment into a marketing product, and the selling of image instead of self. In today's world of likes and followers, Chris Rea stands as an anachronism. He believed in the power of mystery. Today, everything is transparent, everything is on display. Rea's silence stands as a powerful protest against the noise of the modern world. Music history is full of stars who burned brightly and faded quickly. Chris Rea chose to remain like a glowing ember deep in the fire, rather than a shooting star. Because he rejected fame, he may not have made it into the tabloid history books, but he made it into the hearts of people through his songs and into the honor of art through his integrity. He was that escape artist who rejected £25 million contracts to keep his soul. The lesson he leaves us today is the liberating power of pursuing truth over glitter.